please help me to welcome our first event of the day, our keynote speaker who's talking to us about innovation by design, head of design and user experience from SUGAR. Please welcome Katie Cotellon.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Good morning, students. Good morning, Sugar community. Thank you very much to invite me, this morning to introduce the event. I'm very proud to be there with you. And before starting, I want to share with you that it was so emotional to see your global energy through the introductive video. It was so amazing to see and to feel the work done during this year. And it was, yeah, so wow. So, and this was what I felt when I worked with the design team of the student in France. So yes, just congratulations for your job. And I think that this day will be very important and wonderful for you. So I'm Katie. Yeah, it's very hard to start like that, but yes, I feel the energy of the community and it sounds good. So I'm Katie. I am the head of design at Saint Gobain Research Paris. So this is one of the R&D center of our big company. And I will give you today an overview of what we are doing, and probably inspire you to join some big industry like mine to innovate and to create value for people. Okay, so I think that everybody can see my screen. So Saint Gobain. Saint Gobain is a totally French but worldwide company. Our job is to create new materials for living spaces. So I think that some of you know us more about what we are doing historically in glass industry, because it was our starting point. But today, I would say that we are imagining wonderful material for several sectors, and one of them is about building construction sectors. We also act on mobility, healthcare, life science, and so on. But my team and I are more involved into building construction markets. This is for us something very important, because I think that it is probably the sector which is more related directly to human expectation. And I think that as a designers, work on the home, on the house of people is the beginning of everything. So all the design we can do will have a very strong impact. About Saint Gobain, Saint Gobain is one of the oldest company in the world, because we are 350 years old. So you can imagine that there is a lot of issue in terms of innovation, but also in change culture. So being a designers and human science expert in our company is something totally new. And it is a very big challenge we are very proud to be involved in. As a designer, we are working, as I mentioned at the beginning, especially at the early stage of the project, because we are involved into research and development department. Design and user experience is a quite new competencies in this global company, but we are now represented all around the world, because today we are, like you, a community made of experts in design thinking, human science, engineering, prototyping, and also scientific experts. So we are based in France, close to Paris, but also in Brazil. And I think that one team of the students will show what have been done with the Saint Gobain Research Brazil. We are also based in North America, but also in Asia, in India, and in Shanghai. So for me, I'm very proud to be at the head of this global network that grow very well in the world of Saint Gobain. We are also one of the top innovator company in the world, so we are very proud of that. But I think that today the more important things is to open the box to you and to share with proximity what is about design in our company and what is the spirit behind. All start for me by observing what is the company itself, because I observe that we are very focused as a designer and innovator on user, but I think that everything starts more by thinking an interaction between people that can be users, but they're also stakeholders, collaborators, so human people, and a company which is a power of transformation things, to producing things, to manufacturing things, and to commercialize things. And when you are looking also at the company, you can also be inspired about what could be the relevant innovation we have to produce as a designers to create strong value. So first of all, I very like this picture about Saint Gobain because it is a metaphor of what we are. We are a producer of kilometer and kilometer of material. We are an heavy industry. We are not like Apple. We don't create final products. We are creating semi-products that their mission is to be integrated into other global technical system. So you can ask yourself, but what do we need design in such industry? What is the mission of industry? So another thing for me when I joined Saint Gobain, which was for me very impactful, was people. Saint Gobain is a company with a very, very strong and deep know-how. Sometimes I have the feeling that in our society, we are very focused on immaterial things because we are at the area of worldwide communication. And sometimes we forget that our life is also material. I think that last year we touched the point altogether with this pandemic. So Saint Gobain is a very strong know-how company which creating material at a very, very, very big scales, because our scale is buildings, and buildings are cities. So it is something very wide. And sometimes as a designer, I say, wow, it is so big, it is so huge. What we can bring to this global approach, to this global industry that can create meaningful value. I think that there is a very, very important challenge I want to share with you, because I don't know if you are aware about what is behind this industry. As we are working for building construction market, we have a very big environmental stakes. The building and the building construction in general is responsible for 36% of the world final energy consumption. I don't know if you can imagine it, but it's very, very big. It's not only relating to our manufacturing structure, but it is also due to you and I, because the consumption comes a lot from heating system and cooling also, because you all observe that the climate is changing, and we want to keep our comfort in our modern countries. So it creates a lot of energy consumption. So as a designer, we can ask ourselves what we can do to change this situation, but not by making too much, I would say, losing comfort and evolution of our society. Having a good home is something that all human beings want to have. But do we really want to have a very high technological home? That is the question, probably. So as a designer, our work is to imagine all the opportunity we have to change this situation, or to accompany, because as a designer, we are not alone to improve situation and to innovate. So our first stage as a designer is to be humble, I think, because tackle critical challenges, the road will be very long, and it is a very ambitious objectives. So it is important to create things that make the situation positive, and not creating more frustration than people already have. So our first stage is probably to think how we can build, sorry, I will close this. I don't know if you see it, but it's not comfortable, but yes, to act on how a building can be clever with probably less technological approach, to try to decrease the level of carbon emission. And we are trying also to apply our way of thinking on the probably think about if we build nothing, just, as something I think that you experiment during your project, is to imagine design as a fiction in a critical scenarios, just to force ourselves to change our mindset. And I will give you a very simple example that was driving my my thinking with the team, is to say that if we want to change our solution, our materials, we need to be inspired by what will be the future of building also. So here I change with you a wonderful project of a building built in France, in south of France, where the architects trying to increase the way of living in a building. So what was very surprising for me when I discovered this project is that I'm not sure that this thing looks like a building. It is not square. It's a bit rounded. It was difficult for me to put a name on what I was seeing. But what I feel is that something has to be different in this building. And yes, because this building was creating to refresh the city and refresh more the zone around the building, because probably you observe, if you are living in a city, that time after time we put the nature outside because of economical issues. We know that square meter are very expensive in city, but we lose things. It's not about aesthetics. It is about comfort of life, because we need trees to decrease temperature when the summer is very, when the temperature in summer is very high. And when you have only mineral material around you, you feel that you are in a desert, you know, and it is very uncomfortable, and it creates disaster also, and health disaster. So this thing was very important for us to say, yes, it helped us to see in another way what could be the issues, the coming issues for the building, and how our material can accompany this new type of buildings to create and add new functionality to the building. What is our vision as a designer in Saint Gobain is the idea that the building have to contribute also as the people to create the comfort and the well-being in cities. Building previously are more concerned about indoor quality, but today building have to be an object that helps to create outdoor also quality of living. So this is, you know, a way to have a pictures, to think in a different ways, and to start a discussion with the user about what could be the future. Because thinking about innovation, thinking about future, it's not so easy than that. I would say that it is more than methodology. We have to create a common project of life. So this is what we are trying to do in Saint Gobain. So it changed totally the state of mind of how we can conduct researches in such a company where material is more related to physical aspects, thermal aspects, or chemical aspects, more related to scientific issues. So what we are trying to do is to connect scientific issues with human and society issues. So it is a big challenge, but it is very, very exciting, I think, for the teams and the designer we are. So I wanted just to share with you that what I'm trying to explain today is a very deep trend in our community of innovator by design. I think that the question of the scale is very key. That means when we start in and design thinking start their mission, I would say, and their ambition, we were in a stage of an industry related to the consumption area. So it was very important to design and to imagine how we can enhance the relation between people and products, physical or digital one, it was the same thing. What we are trying to do as a designer, and what where our concern is that to say that it's not enough to tackle environmental issues just to be interested in the relation the user can have with the people, the product, sorry, directly, or the interface directly. We have to think more globally and be very interesting in the interaction inside the system. That's why, as a producer of material, it's important to project our thinking at the scale of the building and after at the scale of the city, because it is a global chain, and we have to find when we can improve all the steps of the chain. And that's why, as an introduction, I share with you that user is important, but people is more. Is that when you are looking at this change, you observe that there is different stakeholders with different interests. and it is, well, yes, complex to find the good deal for everybody. So that's why I'm very convinced that design is something very key and central for our society. So how we can do that? First of all, at Saint Gobain, we make the choice to have a pluridisciplinary team of design because we need all the skill of the design today to tackle this kind of big project. So we've got industrial designer, service designer, UX designer, sociologist, and we are working a lot with partners like you both on the prototyping, innovation, but also in data science and business design. It is very important to anticipate what could be the economical issue of what we are designing. And my conviction also is to say that user people are also our partner in our way of imagine sustainable solution, because we need to open also their eyes to just to say that it is the role of company or the role of the politicians, or we are all on the same planet. So we need and we must all together contribute. And as a designer, I think that we have a good card to play, if I can say like that, is that we have the competencies and the skill to connect people with organization, because we know how to understand what is in the mind of the user. And that's why user and human-centric approach is very key for the future. And just to finish, because I try to manage the time, so I think that I've got about 5 minutes to finish, I will just share with you an example of a project I love a lot, because it is the first relevant project we realized in our team. And I forget to say that the team is about 4 years old. So we are very young in the company. So we had to convince, but we have to open the world of the design to the different internal stakeholders to help them also to anticipate the value we can bring. So we start by imagine a totally new solution to create new facade rendering for individual house building. We call it Weber Graphic. Weber, it is the name of the brand we work with, and graphic because the idea was to modernize this aesthetics finishing that exists for 40 years old now, and it makes the house facade a bit old-fashioned. And old-fashioned today could be a problem for Saint Gobain because there is more and more new solution to realize facades. So we have a very interesting competition market. So we need to change our product. The other issues behind this product was about sustainability, because when we applied traditionally this solution, we project the material on the facade, and after we have to put out some of the material to create the texture. So we lose a lot of material, and it's not sustainable and it's not economical, also for the professional. So we have to find a solution to address this point. We observe also that during the time the facade became difficult to clean. So another point to address. And after users, the professional, work for building markets is very hard. It's hard for your body, when you are about 50 years old, you're out. You know, you cannot do anything else because it is a so physical work that your body cannot follow you too much time in your life. So ergonomy, user experience, comfort, health is very key in such a project. We have to imagine something that helps the professional to work in a better situation, in a better comfort. So the brief that we as a designer defined, because the brief of the marketing team was just to, can you produce a new innovative solution? You know, it was very wide. So we transformed the brief into how we can move from material to a product by combining performance and aesthetics, increase productivity, and renew the craft gesture, and from the material to the finishing solution. And we create this product with whom we can print a pattern inside the coating. And it was a very big R&D challenge, because we had to work with the people in charge of the formulation of the product, but we also have to shape, if I can say like that, the totally new gesture to print without create impactive detail and create a smooth pattern. So something very effective when you have a look on it, and make it very intuitive. That means that this guy didn't have to be trained to put the material on the facade. And it was a very big challenge, and it was very successful for us. So I think that I am at the end of the time, and I am at the end of the presentation. I just want to stop speaking just by saying, I think that the future is for you, because we have to tackle very complex projects, and innovate have to be also technology as human, because this innovation have to be sustainable. So we need design thinker, and I really hope that my presentation inspire you to enter and push the door of a global industry, where sometimes it's not so easy to identify that we need design. But I think that when I see your video, I'm very confident on the fact that you've got the energy to do it. So stay curious, stay ambitious, but humble. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Katie. That was really interesting, and like, you spoke with so much passion. It was really, really awesome to watch. So thank you again so much. If anyone wants to contact Katie to ask any questions, because we've run out of time for questions, just find her on LinkedIn and make that connection.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you again. We really appreciate it.